and it's very, very deep, like somewhere around there by the cervix. Okay.
Okay, my medical person looking at you like she don't know what that
Yeah,
is.
Why you
that's
never heard of
that's
a second
okay. Well,
vagina?
that's what they call it. Basically, what I mean by that is that when a penis goes so deep, it hits some other nerve endings in there that gives a woman another sensation. You know what I'm saying? And they call it a second vagina. You know, some women like to be penetrated deep. You know what I'm saying? They do. They want you to go all the way in there, and they want you to touch their walls because some women have nerve endings back there. You know, so if some women are not getting those nerve endings hit that's very deep in their vagina, they're not going to be satisfied, and then they're going to say he's not big enough. You see what I'm saying? So it's all situational. It all depends on that woman, whether if she says that the penis is good for her or it's not. Now, you know what I'm saying, Cass, you just said that. You know, you name the type of penises that you will and you won't deal with. You see what I'm saying? So that's your situation. You know, some women may be okay with a small Teletubby. Some women may want to, you know, a sailboat going in that thing. It's all situational. You know what I'm saying? Every woman is different. Now, I know some women who are, like you said yourself, they not out getting their stuff beat out of whack, and their stuff is tight. They still want to get filled up. You see what I'm saying?
I want to feel something.
See what I'm saying? I know some women whose stuff is wide open and, you know, it doesn't matter to them. So it's all about that woman. If you want to get filled up, you want to be with a man that's going to be able to do that for you. If it doesn't matter to you, then you can go the way the wind blows.
Well, and my thing is, again, our vaginas, the vaginal area is not that deep. So he can have a foot long, but only about 3, 4, 5 inches is getting in there. The rest of it's just for show, you know.
But I mean, you did say it stretches. You know what I'm saying?
The vagina, it does stretch.
Yeah, you know,
it does stretch. But the thing is, there's pain with that. And I don't know if it's because of, you know what I mean? Like, I would rather you have a nice size, you know, thing, but
pain is pleasure, right?
But no. To an extent, because it's the thing is, you don't want to feel like you don't want to have your uterus tilted.
Right. Now, if he's hurting,
you don't want to you don't want to feel like your ovaries been shook up. You know, you don't want to feel uncomfortable, but you do want to, you know, feel what you want to feel. Yeah. And my thing is, again, I'm a learning person. I'm a visual person. I like to see things, so I just personally don't want to see, you know, what I don't want to see. I won't be to the place where I can even know that I'm about to go into this experience with the outcome of an orgasm, or, you know, I know I'm going to be like, why did I agree?
Right.
Just to piggyback on hurting the woman. Okay. Men, that's your job again. If you do have a nice size, you know what I mean, and you're going deep, you know, if you watch that woman's reaction. If she goes, ooh, you know what I'm saying? It hurt her. You know what I'm saying? Bro, back that thing up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Or if she goes, ouch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro, back that thing up a little bit because.
Or if she just starts kind of scooting
back.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
You know?
But you know.
Yeah, and I guess, because I've been with somebody it was too much, like you said. So you have to find that balance where, you know, it's not too much and it ain't not enough. So it don't have to be ginormous. It just needs to be, for me, I need to just be able to feel something. You know, it's our show. We got time.
Yeah, Eric said that's the crazy button when you go deep down in there and hit that thing way in the back. Yeah. He said it's called the crazy button.
Yeah, but see, that's why when you're pregnant and you're getting close to, you know, birthing the baby, we encourage you to have sex. We encourage him to go in there. That's what you got. That's how you got this thing started. So go on in there and help a mother out. You know what I mean?
So what does that do?
It's like exercise. It's exercise. You know, when you're about to have the baby and your cervix is trying to get effaced, and it's starting to thin out a little bit. The cervix generally is thick and it's, you know, tight and closed. It's kind of like this. So, you know, that's what it is. But as the baby is starting to descend and you're starting to, you know, get ready to prepare yourself for delivery, it starts, right. And the cervix starts to thin out and it starts to try to open up some. Well, go ahead in there, husband or father of the child and help her because she needs you, you know. And if a lot of men feel like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. She's having this baby, she's screaming and or whatever it is. Usually you're not doing that when you're screaming into that point, but you know, going in there, rub on her nipples, you know, that helps the uterus to contract, that helps things to happen. Stimulate touch, you know, releases oxytocin, and it's like, oh, I'm love, I'm here, I'm there again, you know, and that helps the body to relax, and that helps things to do what it do. So
Sexual
I don't know, how did we
stimulation.
get on that part? I forgot.
We were talking about size and
Oh, yeah,
so
hitting
you were
the
saying
cervix,
hitting the
yeah.
surface, yeah. So
Deep,
okay,
deep
doula,
back here.
doula telling us some
12
good.
feet.
some
But you
good
also
stuff.
have to be careful with that too, because sometimes we don't always know. You should know, but when you're about to come on your period, so you don't want him to go all the way in and then you come out on your period.
Yeah.
You know,
I've had that happen.
Fellas, bring that period down. That's what we do.
Crazy.
I done brought that thing down.
You are crazy. You are crazy.
If you bring that thing down, you deep in that thing.
yeah,
That's
you
all
be
I'm
like, I wasn't supposed to come on for 3 more days.
Yeah.
But you know what? I helped you out, so get it over with because I'm going back in 5 more days. Come on.
We got the right one, didn't we?
Okay.
We got the right one.
So, okay, as we wrap up, we got 2 more questions to get through. What is the best communication tip when it comes to sharing our needs to our partner? So, how can we communicate, you know,
Games.
that they're not doing it right, or we need you to do this better, or so? What's the best way to communicate that? We're gonna start with Nikki.
Oh, well, for me, honestly, I went to I guess you would call it a seminar in Detroit a month or so ago, and it was men on there talking about, you know, women and what we should do and, you know, relationships and things of that nature, but they had games. You can go to whatever the stores are called now and get like the dice that have, you know, different things on there. You play dice with your boo or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, you have dice, you have
Dice game with your boo.
you know, just sitting down.
Dice night.
Yeah, or just, you know, let's sip and see what
Sip
we
and
get
see.
into. You know, whatever it is, get you some wine or whatever floats your boat, and you know, just talk. And you know, wine always helps loosen people up and get you ready and right. You know, and it helps you just come out of the I'm afraid, I really want to do this, but I just can't calm down enough or whatever it is. But games.
Good question.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So games.
Dr. Carol. Okay, so games. So Dr. Carol, what's your take?
My take is just to have that moment to have a conversation without any attitude.
Okay.
Because one of the things that I see when I counsel with couples is that a lot of the females will attempt to have a conversation with a lot of sass in it. And then also one of the biggest things as far as communication is just knowing who you're talking to. You know, so as women, we tend to look at this whole I'm independent mentality where we don't know how to speak to our mate when they're a man.
That is such a horrible mentality.
So sometimes
Can you expand on that a little bit? We talked about this on the phone. Too.
Independence. That has
So what should
ruined
we be
some
saying
folks.
to our man?
I think that any event that you decide as a woman to be with a man and say that he is the head of your life and household, you need to at some point be submissive in your conversations.
Preach, Pastor.
In order for them to receive what you are saying to them. Because at the end of the day, you want that male to be sensitive to your feelings, but yet you don't want to be mindful of their ego.
So give me an example. Help our ladies out. What should they be saying?
I don't know because my husband listening right now. So,
Because like on the phone, you were saying, you mentioned like daddy, you know, throwing it just, you know.
And it's how you
I mean,
say it.
it's basic.
Uh,
I think it's how you say it.
you know, yeah. Have you had those
Don't be afraid to call him
conversations?
daddy. I know we talked about that.
And be playful and
I
soft
mean,
with it.
I think she
Yeah.
just hit the main thing like right on the head. She said to bag back a little bit and let that man be the head of you. And I think
When
that's
you decide that you're going to be in a relationship with a man
Yes.
and say that he is the head of your household, regardless of how much money you make
Mm-hmm.
or what's going on, you
Mhm.
have made that decision at that particularly time
Mm-hmm.
to be with someone and have them be the head of your household. You
Mhm.
cannot sit there
say
and
you
have
independent.
every type
Right.
of conversations that is inappropriate with that male.
Mhm.
Because in vice versa, you want them to be attentive to your feelings.
Mhm.
You know, you want them to be attentive to, you know, how you feel, but yet you don't want to be attentive to them mentally and what they think. Because, you know, men, they think very logically
Mhm.
versus we think with our emotions.
Mhm.
So it has to be an understanding of who you are with and how you communicate to each other. You know that we are emotional, so you're going to attend and say things that's not going to hurt our feelings versus, you know, the same way.
So how can you respectfully, I guess, let's just role play for a minute, because I'm very big on just being, what's the word? I need examples. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
Okay,
can talk in
okay.
circles. Not saying you're going to say people can
Right.
talk in circles all day long and say, well, you have to do this. But give me a real tangible example of how I can respectfully, we role play and say, because we cousins, so I can't role play. But say Tia and Dorian.
We can
y'all,
role play.
No, we
Yeah,
can't.
y'all can.
Y'all in
Yeah.
a relationship.
Okay.
And he's
So it's why it's
not
called role
pleasing
play.
you,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
the way you need to be pleased.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play that out. Well, how
How
would
would
that
I
conversation?
respectfully
Yeah,
do
how
that?
could you respectfully have that
I've
conversation?
decided that he's the head of my household. So I would just simply say, babe,
Yes, Tia.
what I would really, really like
Okay.
is for you to do this.
Okay.
It makes me feel really loved by you, and
Mhm.
it makes me feel just you know, safe
Mhm.
when you do this.
Okay.
And when it doesn't happen, it makes me feel like
Mhm.
I'm not as important to you, and it makes
Mhm.
me feel, you know, bad about myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, babe. Well, I love you, and I'm going to do whatever it is that I need to do in order to satisfy you in that category. Because if I don't, then you don't need me.
Yeah. So that's the respectful way. But if I could have said it like, you don't never do whatever. You always making me feel like I'm not worth it. You know, it really makes me mad when you do blah blah blah. You don't ever do that. I've asked you a million times, and
Right.
you're so selfish. All you do is think about yourself. I need something too. All the stuff I do every day for you,
Mm-hmm.
and I come home and you ignore me and you don't pay attention to me.
Well, you know what, Miss Tia?
Wait a minute, what no baby?
So
well,
I think
well,
that's
you know
okay.
what?
So from a man's perspective, I want
Yes.
you to role play, and
Okay.
how do you respectfully tell Tia that she's not satisfying you?
Okay, well, just to give a response to the second delivery
How
that she
did that
gave,
make you
okay?
feel?
The second delivery that she gave, okay, and I can't speak for all men, okay, because I'm very in tune with the universe and society and how society works, okay? If she is releasing her feelings and emotion that way, then that is how she feels at that point in time. And I cannot say that she's wrong for that. You see what I'm saying? I have to understand that she's emotional. I have to understand that she's
Exactly.
feeling that way. You see what I'm saying? So I have to be a sponge.
Exactly.
And I need to absorb that. You know what I'm
Say
saying?
Exactly again. Go
Sure.
ahead. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I need to be a sponge, and I need to absorb that, because in a relationship, we need to be each other's outlet. Okay,
Exactly.
if I cannot express myself to you, and I might be going off, man, you know what I'm saying? You are my outlet. Let me vent. Let me
Exactly.
get that off of me.
And no,
You see what I'm saying?
It's still good.
Yes. Let me get that off of me. You see what I'm saying? Once I vent and I get that off of me, you know what I'm saying? Now I need you to be my nurse. Okay.
Ooh, he said,
Now
"I need
say,
you to be my nurse."
now say, okay, baby, I got you. Okay, this is what I'm going to do to make it better. I will fix it. And that's what my answer would be to your second delivery. All right, baby, let me fix it.
But
You see what I'm saying?
one
Yeah.
problem that I always see is that whoever is receiving that information typically internalize into their problem.
Yeah.
So I always tell them, like, why are you mad?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't your problem. It's not
Right.
even your situation. Why are you mad over what you're receiving?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we have to keep that in mind. Even vice versa, when you hear something, a lot of people jump into that aggressiveness,
Yep.
and I look like, why are you mad?
We take it. We don't know how to
say
receive
it.
it.
What are you
Well,
mad
and
about?
even
They
if
just
you
telling
do
you
say it-
what they feel,
Right, and even if you say it in a loving way, going back to just how you've been taught about sex and stuff, we take it personal. Like our feelings get hurt if a man tells me,